Okay, this video is going to demonstrate drawing a window, drawing textures, and then I'm going to draw kind of like an island-like structure underneath the castle, and then maybe a quick background. So in order to draw a window, the first thing you guys are going to do, let me just make sure I'm going to be on green here for a minute, and then I'll trace over the lines that I'm going to keep. But basically to draw a window, if you're on the left side, the top and bottom are going to go down to your left vanishing point. If you're on the right, the top and bottom will go to the right vanishing point. And the edges of the window, just like the edges of the door, will come from vanishing point 3, will come all the way from the top. Remember, there are no verticals, just lines from vanishing point 3. So I'm going to take a line from my left vanishing, oh no, that's a huge line. Hold on, let me undo that guy. Hello, undo, skinny. Okay, sorry, missed that. So anyway, I'm going to take a line from here. This is going to be the top of my window. I'm going to take another line from here. This is going to be the bottom of my window. And remember, the edges of my window, the sides are going to come from the top. So I'm going to come from the top. Of course, you guys would have to be lining up your rulers here. And sorry, I have this really handy dandy tool. Okay, so there's my window. That's basically it, all right? I'm going to trace over that window in black really quickly. If you would like to have a three-dimensional window, which I would probably advise you guys do because they look really nice, I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? You guys might remember doing a three-dimensional window like whenever we did our tree houses. And on the three-dimensional window there, what we did was whenever you start going 3D, you have to go to the opposite side vanishing point. So we're going to start using our right vanishing point. It depends on where your window is located as to which corner you start from. But right now we are above the horizon line to the left of the center line. So we're going to go at the top right corner and we're going to go down to meet that right area there, okay? So let me switch back over to my green here. I wish there was an easier way to switch to green. There probably is, and I just don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to take this guy right here down to my right vanishing point. And then I'm going to do a line from the third vanishing point that crosses right through there to the bottom of the window. So that goes down to the bottom. So you guys would be lining your rulers up here, and all you'd have to do is draw a line from here to here. So you'd actually end up with a little bit less excess than I'm working with here. And then I'm going to go through that corner with a line from my left vanishing point all the way over to the right side of the window. So now I'm going to trace over the lines that should stay in black. Why don't you listen to me? Okay. All right, if you guys have watched all these videos so far in perspective, I'm sure that it's becoming quite redundant. But really, this is all the information that you're going to need to do these castles and cities with all the detail that you'd want to have on there, okay? So remember, when in doubt, just kind of look at these images and kind of ask yourself, like, what vanishing point does that appear to be going to? You know, if you see a line slanting down this way, obviously it's got to be slanting to this vanishing point. If you see a line slanting this way instead, it's got to be going to the right vanishing point, all right? Anyone that look like they're going up and down, they're probably going to vanishing point 3. So that should kind of answer your questions, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a texture over the building. These textures will, of course, you know, kind of avoid your windows and doors. So I'll show you how to do that. Let me just kind of trace over this door so you can see the outline. If you wanted to have a rectangular door in your castle, that would be possible too. It doesn't necessarily have to be an arched doorway. You could also do an arched window if you wanted to do an arc above there. Remember, you just have to find your perspective center, shoot a line above there. So the perspective center, you do X like this, the line comes straight out, and then you just draw in your arc above it. So there would be your arched doorway. You know what, I'll just leave that in for now since I have it too. All right, to do texture, you first have to take your ruler and you're gonna measure down the center line of your building. And by the way, you could do a texture up top and a texture on the bottom. I usually like to do different textures on different levels of the building just because it makes them stand out from one another. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up. I'm gonna do a dot at every inch. Of course, I'm working in a really large area, so you guys will probably wanna do 1/2 inch or centimeters for yours. Okay, all the way down on that center line. And then once I have my dots on there, I'm basically just gonna connect the dots on the left side to the left vanishing point and on the right to the right vanishing point. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna switch over to the green and then I'll outline in black. Or you know what maybe I'll do? Maybe I'll just do these ones right in black and I will just line up my ruler. Let's do that. So to do this top line here, I'm lining up with this red dot to my right vanishing point. So I'm gonna line up there. Sorry, I can't really see what I'm doing down there. and I'm going to draw in a line like that, okay? On the left side, it would do the opposite. On the left side, it'll connect to the left side of the building, and it's slanting down towards the left vanishing point. So that's why I have my ruler lined up with here and the left vanishing point, okay? Then I'm going to go down to the right over here. Kind of missing these dots a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my line where it hits the door, pick up my pencil, start it again on the opposite side, so you can see that that line doesn't go through the door. I'll show you another one on this side. Start here, oh, stop when I hit the door, pick up my pencil, do it again on the opposite side, okay? So there's my lines, my texture on that side. I want to show you a little bit at the bottom here so I can show you how to do a brick or a stone texture. I just want an area without a window and a door to work in so you guys can see my lines really well. So these ones I'm doing every inch again. I'm kind of going back to my dots. I kind of missed my dot on that last one. That one goes right over the horizon line, so I don't need to draw that line. That's super convenient. Okie dokie, I think we got them all now. Oh, one more. That little stinker. Okay. So there's my lines. If you want to do a brick texture, you can line your ruler up. So instead of doing like the vertical lines of the mortar, remember there are no vertical lines. So we're going to line up to vanishing point 3. Let me uncap this guy. Okay. So I'm going to line up here and I'm going to do a line from my vanishing point 3 on every other. So I'm going to do section 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay. Then I'm going to rotate my ruler. I'm still lined up with vanishing point 3 though. And now I'm going to do evens. So I'm going to do 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then I'm going to revolve my ruler over a little bit more, kind of the same space I did last time. And I'm going to go back to odds. And then I'm going to go back to evens. And you can kind of get a feel for what that brick texture will look like, okay? Yeah, maybe I'll do one more on the end for you. If you guys want to do a stone texture in there, the stone texture will be within the brick texture. Honestly, you could probably do it when you just have the straight lines. Like I could draw stones in these areas and they'd probably look just as good. The thing I like about doing the vertical mortar in there, or like the mortar that goes up to vanishing point 3, is it kind of restricts the shape of your stones and it makes sure that the mortar also looks like it's going into perspective, okay? You can do some vertical ones. You could do some like smaller stones in these areas, some really big stone. You want to make sure that the areas in between the stones kind of look darker so that you can really see that there's sort of like a shadowed area underneath, almost as if the stones kind of stick out a little bit more. So there would be an example of doing a stone texture. If you're going to do the stone texture, if you want, you could do it like up halfway, but I would really recommend doing it on this side as well. So not just doing it on one side of the building, but you wouldn't have to do the stone all the way up. Like you could even do the stone and just leave this part blank, or you could do the stone on the whole bottom half, leave the top half blank. So kind of think strategically about how you want to do your textures and then only draw in the lines where they're necessary, okay? Now to do an island underneath. To do an island, a lot of people underneath this 3D sort of structure here, they want to draw in an island that looks like it's being seen from an aerial view. Does that make sense? So like if you were flying over an island, you'd see the whole shape of the island and you just see water around it, okay? But that doesn't make sense because we're seeing our building from a side view. So we're gonna need to see a side view of that island. So you might see like some hills and stuff. So basically it's gonna be wider than it is tall, okay? And then what we're gonna do on the bottom of that island is we're gonna draw in an area where the land kind of goes inward. You could even draw in like areas in here. Basically we're kind of like imagining another vanishing point sort of like down here where that land's sort of going down too. So again, I'm gonna draw in like that hill-like structure. You could, and by the way, you could have like rocks. You could actually draw in individual rocks and things. And then I'm going to draw in all these lines sort of going down towards an imaginary vanishing point. So like as I crossed over, the line in the center is pretty much vertical and these other ones are going out sort of at a slant. I like to draw in like divots in the land like that, so it looks like there's a reason that there's sort of like a shadow there. I'm going to do the same thing kind of here. I'm going to have that guy kind of go over and back, and then you're seeing like a curve in the land where it kind of crosses over itself. Anyway, in the background, you can also do a background if you want. You could actually draw in another horizon line back here, and it can be straight or wavy, however you guys want that to look. Usually when I draw them in, I'll draw through the building kind of light, and then just erase my line where it goes inside the building. And then off in the distance, you guys could draw, like, you could draw another castle back there or something. This is a terrible castle, but I don't know, maybe it's a house. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. Anyway, you could draw something like that in. You could draw in like smaller trees. On my example, I drew in like mountains, so there's like some creepy mountains in the background, and then there was like a dragon sort of laying over the mountains. So if you'd like to draw something in the background, you're welcome to. If you guys are doing the drawbridge, I would draw in your land first, and then kind of have that drawbridge go over and kind of erase inside it, okay? The last thing on the castle, I guess, is just a flag. I'm going to draw in a really quick flag for you. For the flag, make sure your lines go up to the top vanishing point. So I'm going to do 2 lines that are really close together for my flag pole. And then what I'm going to do is draw like a little knobby shape at the top, and then I'm going to draw in the shape for my flag, okay? Now the shape for your flag can honestly be anything that you guys want. The only thing I like to do is I like to make it look like it's sort of waving in the wind, like it's sort of moving. And the way I do that is by overlapping sort of like rectangular shapes. So I'll start with one, then I'll go in with another, and then I'll go in with like a triangle on the end. Where they overlap, you're gonna have to do like a little loop in that zone right there. So I'm gonna add a loop, and then you can even create like a shadowed area underneath there. You could also use hatching and create shadows underneath these areas. So that's kind of how I do a waving flag. You could also just do a flag that's kind of straight out, like maybe it's just a little wavy on the edges, but it just kind of looks like that. You can maybe do like a little shadow in the middle or something. That would be fine too. Okay, I think that's everything you need to know on the castle. If you guys want to use the iPad, look up images for like dragons or things like that, that's welcome too, okay? All right, good luck, guys.